Your brand has an edge to it because you should, because you're fighting for a cause.
Yeah.
Like the way that you've gone after Nike has been tremendous.
I personally have beef with Nike, and I feel like they are the epitome of woke capitalism.
Now, you spoke last night when you were on stage, that you said something interesting, and we talked about this a little bit last night, but you said to stop calling it the parallel economy. I thought that was fascinating.
I feel like I'm the only one saying this, but I'm going to just keep saying it. But it really pisses me off because it's like accepting second-class status. If you say, yes, we're a parallel economy brand, and I know a lot of my peers in this space use it, and they sort of take pride in it, and that's fine, I understand it, but I'm not a second-class brand. Yes, we're small, we're a startup, but I don't think should be relegated to this idea of like a secondary economy. It's delegitimizing, and we're just as legitimate as Nike and Viore and Lululemon, and in fact, more people agree with us. 80% of Americans agree with us. So I'm sorry, if we're second class, we're the ones appealing to the majority. So that's why I reject it. And why isn't there room in the regular economy for brands with different viewpoints?
Exactly. I think that's the key, right? Is that we have one economy, and you're competing in that economy. And your focus, from what I've seen, is very much to go after those brands that are in that economy and take their market share.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's part of it, certainly. It's a typical, what I would call, challenger brand strategy to punch at the big guys. I mean, think about the Pepsi challenge from back in the day. I don't know how old you are, but that was like a big thing. Taco Bell, they did a whole series of commercials, which our creative director did when he worked on Taco Bell, about how Ronald McDonald eats Taco Bell for breakfast. So, which is funny. And they found a real guy named Ronald McDonald who liked Taco Bell. It wasn't the clown Ronald McDonald. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But this whole, taking shots at the big guys.
But that's what you have to do, and your brand has an edge to it because you should, because you're fighting for a cause. Like the way that you've gone after Nike has been tremendous.
I personally have beef with Nike, and I feel like they are the epitome of woke capitalism. They say one thing, they do another. They have zero integrity. You know what? I don't even care as a brand if you take woke stances, if you actually follow it through, and that's true, and that's how you behave internally. But it's not. They present an image of empowering female athletes. They treat women with astonishing disregard. I don't even need to go into the number of examples. They abused a young runner, Mary Kane, to the point of suicidality. She had been one of the best runners in the world. Allison Felix, pregnant, wouldn't renew her contract. Female executives harassed them, made them go to strip clubs, like all kinds of garbage. And so you don't get to get away with presenting this image that's pro-woman when you treat women like shit.
And when you make Dylan Mulvaney your spokesperson and then go to the Super Bowl and put an ad out and say that for women.
The Dylan Mulvaney, I won't even call it an ad, social media campaign. I mean, it was up until that point, best I can glean, they only worked with elite level athletes. So Dylan Mulvaney, not an athlete, not a woman, in a running bra. I mean, it was such a clear virtue signal. It just was so wrong, but it didn't backfire like Bud Light because their consumer base is on board with it. But the one that really got to me was this past Super Bowl. We'd been coming at them for a while. I do know for a fact from insiders that they were aware of it, but they wouldn't ever pretend to have noticed a brand as small as me. That would be like, that's beneath them to pretend to have noticed us. But I think the campaign on the Super Bowl was a response to us sort of pointing out that they don't really support women. I found the campaign to be really dumb and dated. The concept, for people that don't know, was the tagline doesn't even make sense. You can't win, so win. And it featured all of their, high-ticket female athletes, Caitlin Clark, I think Jordan Childs, who's a gymnast, was in it. A bunch of others. And the idea was, you as a woman, you are being told you can't win, so go out there and do it anyway. You're being told you can't fill stadiums, so go do it anyway. And it was such, to me, a 1990s throwback era, you go girl, feminist. No one's telling female athletes that.
No.
It was premised on a lie so that they could position themselves as the sole supporters of women.
Yeah, and the whole idea that you can win, so you go do it, it does seem like a direct shot across the bow at your brand. Because it's, your brand is saying, listen, you're not saying women can't do it. You're saying that males shouldn't be there to take those spots because there are differences.
They can't win if men compete.
Yeah.
When men compete in girls' sports, they win.
Yeah, and I would caution though too, like, because I was on a panel not long ago and we were talking about the issue keeps coming up. Well, Riley took 5th place.
Well, I know. I have an answer for this one.
Okay, yeah, and that's what I mean is Riley took 5th place. Trans people don't always win.
That's
so
true.
if they don't win,
that doesn't
what's the
mean
issue?
It's fair. The issue is there's still male advantage.
Absolutely.
People, men or women who take steroids don't always win either. Lance Armstrong, obviously the most famous. Everybody on that Tour de France team also took performance-enhancing drugs. Lest I lie, many on that. Quite a few of the athletes on that Team USA, Tour de France team also took performance-enhancing drugs. They didn't all win. They still had unfair advantage versus the athletes not taking. And so I believe there is still male advantage. Well, I don't believe it. The facts show it. And, you know, Will Thomas, he went from being ranked 460-something to 9 months later being top 6 in a variety of women's events.
Yeah.
That's male advantage.
Yeah, and really is the prime example of how you never lose your biological advantage.
That's right.
That biological advantage.
Retained male
because, and I've looked up the stats, it's something like in elite swimming, that the average difference in performance between male and female athletes in elite swimming is 11%.
Yeah, and it's a little higher in some sports.
Thomas only lost 2.3% of that performance.
Right.
Did lose some, but not nearly that would get them to that point.
Size. He didn't lose his arms, his wingspan. He didn't lose
lung capacity.
all of the muscle mass, lung capacity. Male advantage. And for those that would say, which is also an argument, well, it was just training.
It's not.
It was something like 9 months later. Nobody leaps that many places in 9 months. It was the same coach, the same training regimen, the same school.
Yep.
So it's still unfair advantage.
Yeah, and I was actually talking to somebody out in the hall because I was wearing one of your hats in the hall, and she stopped me and she said, "I love your hat," and then started to thank you for standing up for women's sports. And I was talking about this, and she was a cyclist. And when I started talking that's what she was saying. I'm like, I didn't pick up spin. Like I go to spin class 3 days a week, and I realized within a year, and I had been on hormones for about 2 years, and I've been on hormones for about 6 years, and can still push these same power numbers. I was pushing in the 90th percentile among females. Like when I told her my power numbers, she was like, "You know that's insane, right?" I was like, "Yeah, I know it's at 90th percentile," and I've never lost that performance. And so when I look at that, it's clear as day that it doesn't matter how long you're on this. Your body will still function. Even if you've never done that sport, you can still build those muscles quicker because your muscles are used to building.
Yeah, and there was an article or an op-ed in USA Today by Nancy Armour, who's a hack of a sports journalist, in response to the Simone Biles thing. And she makes a statement in this article that even though there's no proof of any sort of, advantage that these trans-identified males have in women's sports, she says it like it's a fact. It's not a fact. In fact, there's plenty of evidence to the contrary. It will all be made clear one day. The studies, I think she cited the study, Armour, in her piece. There was a study done that was like on 12 athletes, you're probably familiar with it, that showed trans women are at a disadvantage. But they compared non-athlete, out of shape, trans-identified males to elite level female athletes. Okay, fine. You're right.
You know what? Because the vast majority of people that would transition are probably more effeminate gay men that are not into sports anyway. So that wouldn't make sense.
If
it's
you
the
take
Dylan
a fat
Mulvaney.
if you take just some dude who's been sitting on the couch eating bonbons for 2 years against an elite level female athlete, yes, she's going to win. It doesn't mean that male advantage doesn't exist.
Thank you for watching this clip. If you liked it, make sure to click that like and subscribe button and head over to Free the People to watch the full interview. And while you're there, check out all the amazing work the team is creating.